profitability of the pure water business. And I've listed out here some of those things that will help you acquire more profit in the business, some of those managerial tips that will help you make more profit in the business, and some of those things that, if not put in place and if not looked at thoroughly, will make you acquire more expenses and essentially running down your business. Everyone is in this business to make profits and not to lose. So management is key when it comes to making profit in the business. I've gotten questions from Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn of people asking if the business is actually profitable. Well, yes, it is profitable, but this also depends on how effectively and how sound you are in managing the business. I have written down some things here that will help us understand the profitability of the pure water business and how to actually calculate if you are making profit. Because if you are willing to hear from me that, okay, when you start up the pure water business, you will be making 1 million naira profit every month. No, I can't do that. Every business is subjective, and depending on how you manage it and how effective you are in managing the factory, you will see profit or you might lose completely, just like any other business. And without wasting much time, let me just go straight into some of the things that you need to look out for your business to be profitable. So the first thing is your acquisition of raw materials. Now, when you are acquiring raw materials, it is important for you to not only rely on a single source of acquiring your raw materials. You can only be comfortable with one supplier of raw materials when you feel you've already established a long-lasting business relationship with that person or with that company or with the supplier. Because sometimes you might be receiving your raw materials from only one person, meanwhile not knowing that you could actually get it cheaper from other suppliers in the market. So where you acquire your raw materials and the quantity which you acquire, now in the state of inflation, it is best for you to acquire your raw materials in bulk, because as the prices keep on increasing, it will also require a lot from your company to be able to meet up with the prices of the raw materials. So it is important for you to have like a variety of raw material supplier, people supplying you good raw materials. So like for pure water production, it is good that at least the person producing your sachet rolls knows the quality and the kind of feel and texture which you require for your business. Sometimes somebody might produce a nylon for you, like we had one time like that. The nylons were very light. I don't know if you buy pure water and you drink pure water a lot, you will be able to tell the difference. There are some pure water you will buy that you feel it is very light, like the nylon is very light, and some you feel at least some thickness and quality to it. So it is important that you buy good raw materials at competitive prices from a raw material supplier, and make sure that you have at least 2 or 3 varieties of them so that you can be able to compare and know who is supplying you good quality. I think the same thing also applies for your packing bag. This is your packaging leather. With your packing leather, it is important that you acquire them too from a good source, because there was a time we got a bundle of this, a whole lot of them. We bought them in bulk from a certain supplier, and the leathers were not good at all. We ended up packaging pure water, I think almost 200 to 300 bags of pure water, and our customers were complaining that when they try to pick up the bag, the whole thing will just tear and the pure water is all over the place. So it is important that you get these raw materials at good prices from a trusted supplier. If you need a supplier for your pure water equipment, pure water production, and raw materials as a whole, you can leave a comment and I'll get back to you so that we'll know how to go about that. Another thing you need to really understand about making profit in the pure water business is how you minimize your leakages and waste. So when producing this pure water, if your operator is not sound in repairing these machines and adjusting the settings, there are several settings on the pure water machine which you need to make sure that at least your machine is calibrated for production of those nylons. Once your machine is set and your operator knows how to set the machine properly, you'll see that it minimizes the leakages acquired when producing. For example, we have some leakages here. They are not much compared to how many bags they produce. They produce over 1,000 bags. But this leakages here, you can't see them. You can see these leakages here in this line are controlled. So sometimes you might see someone who only produce 200 bags for your 300 bags, and you see leakages of up to 50. So you see it's important for you to minimize your leakages, so that at least these leakages you are seeing is what you are supposed to sell in the market. By the time you minimize the leakages, your raw materials will be able to efficiently produce more products for you. Because if these nylons are just going out for leakages, you see you bought those raw materials with money, and it's your money that's going. So make sure that your operator is someone sound in the machine, someone who is not a novice, at least someone with 2 to 3 years of experience producing packaged water. They'll be able to help you even reduce expenses when it comes to calling an engineer to come and maintain your machine for you. So it is good for you to have like a reduction in leakages and the sound management that will be able to make sure that at least wastes are not incurred in the factory while producing. Another thing is the selling price of the water. Now the selling price, this may differ depending on your location. Some places sell their pure water for 200 naira, some 250, some 300. A while back in this same country, there was a time when we bought pure water for 50 naira per bag, but today we are selling pure water for 200 naira. So you see, as inflation rises, as so many other factors come into play in the market when it comes to demand and supply, you see the prices of the pure water becomes competitive. And one unfortunate thing is your competitors, some people also producing pure water, especially those backyard factories which I spoke about in a video a while back. Those backyard factories sabotage the efforts of factories that are actually producing water of good quality and of standard. Although the masses are not very much aware of them, although you can tell sometimes by the quality of water they produce, but those backyard factories, some of them don't follow the actual process of producing pure water. They will just buy like a sealing machine, buy these rules. Some of them you won't even see NAFDAC number, they have no NAFDAC registration, they don't have good water filters, they don't have good raw water supply, they don't even have a good piping system. These factories will just put water in a leather, seal it, and sell at a lower rate in the market. So instances like this also affects the prices of pure water production and what you sell in the market. So it is important that at least you do a survey in your area, find out how much those legitimate factories are actually selling their water, and find a way which you can have an understanding to agree on a price that will favor both the people buying and also the company, because we want to make profit. Those backyard factories are selling at that rate because they know they are not putting in much to produce quality water and to maintain the standard of their factory. So that money that's supposed to go into maintenance and buying raw materials and doing some registrations, they just keep it as profit for themselves. But you who is doing the right thing, it sabotages your effort. So it is important for you to be a part of an organization, a forum. Like in Abuja here, we have ATWAP, Association of Table Water Producers. So you can join these groups and platforms so that at least you'll be able to know some of those legitimate factories, and you'll be able to, out some of those illegal factories that are affecting the prices of the market, the people who are sabotaging your efforts in the market. So this is one thing that also affects the profit of the pure water business. Another thing is equipment and maintenance of vehicles, machines, boreholes, etc. So depending on how much you spend in the factory on a monthly basis or on a yearly basis for maintenance, borehole, vehicles, it will affect your profit. Because sometimes the profit which you are supposed to see coming into your purse as your actual profit, you might end up spending it on maintenance of vehicle, maintenance of borehole, and wiring, fitting, and so on, machines themselves. So you see, management is very important in this area, because if you have good drivers, the driver who is coming in to mount the delivery vehicle for your factory, someone who is going to supply out there, If you have a good driver who is vetted, has a driver's license, and actually know what they are doing, you'll see that the expenses for maintenance of vehicles will be less. Similarly too for the pure water machine, if you have a good operator who is sound with the machine, who knows what they are doing, they will be able to reduce leakages for you, and some of those extra expenses that you might incur when it comes to hiring an engineer or someone who will come and do maintenance and servicing for your factory. Also, your borehole. For the area of borehole, I would say if you are using borehole, it is advisable, because this is what we also do in our factory. It is advisable that you set aside some funds, some savings from your earnings in the factory for the purpose of maintaining your borehole. Because whether you like it or not, one day your borehole, the pump might fail, you might experience some challenges with your borehole itself. I know once your borehole is down, you don't have any product. So it is important for you to keep in mind that you set aside some funds for maintaining your borehole, and make sure that the expenses that goes out for maintaining vehicles and your equipment are less. This will help you realize more profit in your business. Also, there is an amount that goes for the payment of operators, drivers, salary. So it's from your profits that you realize in your business that you would use to settle your operator, your driver, and your staff. These staff will include your accountant, your quality control manager, your security, and so on. So you need to keep in mind that at least when you are running this business, you should be able to pay these people, because once you have these people paid in your payroll, you still have staffs and a functioning factory. Another thing is the price competition and running expenses. So earlier I mentioned price competition, how people will sabotage your market, which is true. So it is important, once again, that you keep in mind that the prices of your products in the market will determine how much profit you make. So generally for the pure water business, we do realize more profit in the dry season, because it's dry season that you get a lot of demand for pure water. In short, we have this pure water, this ice block machine, that's what we call it here, but this big freezer, whereby some of our pure water products, we put them in fridges. So by the time they are cold and they are ice, there's different prices for it. For the cold pure water, you can sell it up to 300 naira per bag. For the iced one, you can sell it 300, 350, and so on, just depending on your location. Just trying to give you an example. But it's also a way which you can maximize the profits and the output of your business. So by having this extra, side business in addition to your pure water factory, you can be able to sell your product at a much higher rate that will get you profit in the business. For one-on-one mentoring and coaching, you can join my online course. And after you've gone through the course and you have any questions, there's a way which you could communicate, and I'll share with you directly and personally those tips that are required to efficiently set up and manage a pure water factory.